Samsung 7 Series?
No, there's one called Studio TV. Oh, are you on the Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me just see if this connects. So it should be called Smart TV Pro. It's a broad responsibility.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna throw you back there in a second, but it works if you're like within 2 feet of it. So you can.
That's fine. I can just click through. It'd be easier from where.
Okay.
Yeah. You're all right.
But you can go back over there.
Cool. I'm gonna set this right here.
Yeah, and it has some money.
Ready?
All right, we're going to get this thing started. So, one more hand for Raj. That was fantastic. So these things got same frequency, right? You know him, you've seen him. We've got the founder of Sales Momentum. He's working with some of the top names in the game, and for one reason, he's teaching people how to put the data to work. Right, I met Aaron 2 years ago at the first AI Mastermind. He asked a question, I answered it properly, gave me a sweet book bag. I still got it.
Hey.
So, really appreciate
Forgot
you,
about
Aaron,
that.
and we're going to get him out here. Sales Momentum. Let's give it up for Aaron Platt. Turn you up, turn you on, and it is all yours.
Whoa. All right. Cool. Thanks for the walk-up song. That was great. First couple seconds. All right, real quick, before I get started, how many of you guys know who I am? Show of hands. Okay, the back of the room, nobody up front, perfect. How many of you guys run a sales team that is between, let's say, you guys have setters and closers? Raise of hands. Okay, how many of you guys have a team that is under 5 people? Okay, over 5 people. Okay, agency, coaching, SaaS, anything else that would be? Service? Okay. Cool. All right, so I'm going to try and take what these guys just did a really good job of teaching you guys, and I'm going to just go straight into the weeds with it. That's what I'm known for. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of going back and forth in the slides, and you guys are going to be able to ask me as many questions as you want, but my goal is to help you guys understand exactly what you guys need to do leaving here for the next 90 days. So my goal is to specifically give you guys actionable your business, and what you guys need to do January, February, and March of next year. Cool? All right, let's get into it. All right, so real quick, let's see if this is working for me. There we go. All right, so who's this for? I'm assuming, how many of you guys are over 100,000 a month? Below 100,000 a month? Okay, cool. So this is gonna be really good for you guys to see. It'll be, you guys can implement all of it. I specifically work with larger companies, so I'm going to try and distill this down. And what I want you guys to think about is the companies I typically work with are doing $1 million plus a month, usually, okay? Their problems are the exact problems that all of you guys have in this room. Same, just much bigger numbers, okay? So what you guys are trying to figure out, they're also trying to figure out, okay? Keep that in mind as we're going through this. Now, I have 40 minutes, so I'm not going to teach you everything. I just want to get you guys actionable. This is what we're going to do going over the next 90 days, okay? So before I go into that, we're going to talk a lot about signal and noise. So noise being stuff that you feel good on working on. So Raj's analogy, the hero, doing 10 things, okay? What I'm going to try and help you guys understand is when you're looking at 10 things, there's usually one that'll produce the same result as if you did all 10 of those things perfectly. Okay? That one thing, you could probably do 50%, but it's still going to produce the same results as all 10 if you just worked on one. Okay? And that's the difference between a 10x opportunity and a 2x opportunity. So I'm going to teach you guys how to find those and how we actually go about doing that on a weekly, monthly, and quarterly cadence. Okay? All right. So real quick, just these are the companies we work with. Patrick Bet David, High Rose, Bad Marketing, WAP, Closers, Rob Dial. This is who we like to work with. Okay? So very fast-paced, growth stage founders. Okay? The reason that they like coming to us is because we make things really simple. Okay? And that's my goal for you guys here today. All right. Just some numbers. Been doing this for 6 years. Specifically what I'm going to talk about. We've worked with over 600 companies. We're rated 4.9 publicly. That's through our clients. We're diamond ranked, which probably means nothing to you guys here, but it means a lot to me. 90-day average growth quarter to quarter for our clients is 26.9% as of Q3. Okay? And I know that's something that people say. We track this with every single one of our clients, and it's an internal KPI at our company. Okay? Meaning every single client goes into a pipeline, and we track every initiative that we run with them, and we track their starting point and their end point in our program, and we track every single initiative that we run. Okay, I'm going to show you guys how we do this, but this is not a hypothetical number. This is actual number of Q3. Okay, and we try and grow this average growth every single quarter. Okay, that's how we track against our account management and our client success teams. Okay, and as of this morning, out of about 15,000 companies, we are 6th in the nation, specifically for RevOps, CRM implementation, sales operations, okay? Which, very excited about. All right, so one thing I want to point out is most of you guys, how many of you guys know what eustress is without reading this? What's eustress? Don't read it. What is it? Okay, perfect. All right, so the way, you had your hand raised? Beautiful. There you go. Okay. So what's the difference between bad stress and good stress? It's kind of obvious, but I'm asking. Okay. So the way I look at this is distress, right? If you are running your team and every day you're coming in and you guys set targets for last month and you don't know why you didn't hit them, and now you're running around trying to make a bunch of different decisions on a bunch of random numbers, and basically your sales director is like, hey, we're going to do this month, and you go, how? And they go, just trust me. Trust me, bro, logic, right? That's distress. It means you're coming into challenges and you don't have a way of confidently basically making a decision so that you can obviously address those challenges, okay? Eustress, I'm gonna read. So eustress in a sales team is positive stress that stimulates motivation, focus, and growth. It's marked by manageable challenges that push the team beyond their comfort, okay? But it's through growth. How many of you guys have come into a problem within your business and you feel really, really fucking good after you've solved it? I hope that for all of you, okay? That is eustress, okay? It's when the team is fired up, excited, right? They know how to solve this. They know you guys have a process in place for going at this, right? That's eustress, and that's a fun position to be in, okay? Now, the way that we typically take companies from distress to eustress, all it is a weekly, monthly, and quarterly cadence. And I'm going to show you guys how we actually run that, okay? So getting into this stuff, I'm going to go past this. All right. So how many of you guys understand what a baseline is? What is it?
Baseline would be like basically your baseline, right? Like where your foundation is.
Sure, okay. So how many of you guys play golf? Okay, so what's your handicap?
A lot. +4.
A lot? +4?
No, kidding.
Okay, I was about to say, goddamn. All right. So baseline is going to be your previous period. It could be 90 days. We like 90 days. And it's going to be your average result, right? So if I'm a 10 handicap, right, that's my baseline. So when I go to the golf course, how do I know if I did good or bad? I'm asking you guys. Track it. All right, so if I shot a 98, right, for those of you guys that know golf, did I do well? No, I didn't. If I shoot a 80, I'm crushing, right? So baseline can be established for anything, okay? And what we like to do is we like to simplify baseline in a company. And it's the 8 to 12 basically metrics that matter, that create every other calculation formula that you guys could come across that you need in your business, okay? And I want you guys to understand, when we go into a bigger company and they show us their reporting, how many numbers do you think they pull up and show us? Hundreds. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of numbers. How the hell does a 50-person team actually track, report, and make decisions from hundreds of numbers every single month? They don't. They create more and more metrics as they need them, and then they go back the next month and they create the metrics they already have. And they're making decisions from new metrics every single month, right? The baseline for all of you guys, and I really want you guys to understand this, is it's the 8 to 12 core metrics per department that you need to make decisions from, okay? Sales, specifically, we're gonna cover that baseline today and how you guys can create it, okay? So if I asked you right now, I'm gonna pause after this, what are the most important 8 to 12 numbers in your sales department today? Could you answer that, and are you tracking those?
I don't know about 8, but definitely some.
Okay, some.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be honest with yourself. That's completely fine, okay? The reality is the more that you grow, the more drill down metrics that you're gonna need to make decisions from. But if you have your 8 to 12 numbers that create your baseline, every formula, every calculation that you're gonna create is from that baseline, okay? What's close rate? That's how many deals you closed versus how many offers you made, or whatever your definition is, right? So what's in our baseline? Deals closed, offers made, right? If we wanna see our duration between offer to close, right, that would be a drill down metric that we can get from those numbers, right? And so on and so forth. So what I want to show you guys is how we establish baselines for companies, okay? And how we track that on a weekly cadence to make a decision each month on what initiative we're going to run that's going to drive the most growth in our company for the least amount of disruption, okay? And my goal for you guys is that if you guys can take this framework, that next year, if you guys are at this event, and you see me, you can pull me aside and you can go, Aaron, we have a 78% hit rate on our initiatives that we ran for the last 12 months. If you guys could answer that and say, we hit 78% of our initiatives that we set on a month-to-month basis, you can grow. You can always grow. You're always focused on one lever, okay? So we're gonna get into that. All right, this is where my presentation is gonna be clicking around a little bit. All right, so when we're looking at baseline, we look at it as a trailing 90-day baseline, okay? And the reason we use 90 days is because how many of you guys have a really good month and then you start making decisions from those numbers? How many of you guys have a really bad month and you start freaking out and you start making decisions from those numbers? Both are inherently really bad to make decisions around, okay? But if you can get the median in between those 2 months and the third for a quarter, right, you can make really good decisions from where you're actually at. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You guys with me? Okay. So when you guys are looking at creating your baseline, and I'm specifically to sales, okay, what we do, okay, is we look at, and this is a very good example for a standard baseline setter-closer model, okay? We have ad spend, okay? How much money did we spend to generate our leads? How many leads do we make or bring in net new, okay? What's our bad data percentage? So people that put in 6969 at whatever gmail.com, right? And then we have our outbound calls, our connection. So how many people we actually spoke to. All right, our outbound sets versus inbound. So inbound meaning they booked themselves through the funnel, right? Outbound meaning your SDR is actually booked. We need to delineate those two, otherwise you're making up numbers when you're looking at your booking rate, okay? And you don't know what to actually move the needle on. We've got our total discos completed, the show rate, right? And then you have the same thing for your closer calls if you're running a 2-call close, okay? If you're running a 1-call close, just eliminate those bottom lines, all right? The next piece is gonna be offers made, deals closed, revenue, cash. Super, super simple, okay? But I'm gonna show you how many numbers you actually get if you just control these 8 to 12 numbers on a month-to-month basis, okay? The way we do this, really simple, guys, super crazy, and we get paid a lot of money to do this, by the way. So it's not complicated. It's just actually sitting people down, and to Raj and to John's point, just doing it, okay? So we'll take the last month. So if we're in Q2, January, February, March, right? We're putting these numbers in. What does that give us? Gives us our baseline, okay? This is how we know whether we're deviating up or down in specific numbers, okay? And this is how we can track whether or not we're doing a good job or not with our business, okay? Now, can anybody guess what we're gonna do when we have these numbers? Make decisions, right? When you have numbers, the only reason you're getting numbers is so you can make decisions on what you should be doing next, right? Where you should be putting time, energy, resources, right? Who on your team is doing a good job, not doing a good job, etc. Okay? Now, we've broken the, I mean, this is, it's gonna sound crazy, but it doesn't matter how big the company is, this is the resource we use, okay? So what we look at when we get our baseline, any client, any company, doesn't matter, is what we're looking for is we're looking at the average, okay? So what did they average do each month, last quarter? And we're looking for the 3 areas. Can anybody guess why 3? I said it earlier. We want to pick 1 a month, okay? We're not trying to do 50 things a month. That's where you get stressed out. That's where you go full hero mode and then you get nothing done, okay? The reality is that if you just pick 1 and you do it excellently, very, very well, right, you can get the growth that you're all looking for, okay? Rather than trying to blow out 25 different initiatives and not getting anything done and then waking up the next month like, holy shit, what do we do, right? So what we're doing here, very simply put, is we're looking at all these numbers, okay? Here's our velocity metrics, and then we have our revenue metrics, and these are all driven by what? The 8 to 12 numbers, okay? That's it, okay? Now, when we're looking at this, the goal with this resource is always to select 1 initiative per month. Okay. Now I'm going to show you an example of this, and this is a actual client, but I want to show you guys the power of this. So specifically this client, they came to us, they were doing about 600,000 a month. Over the last 6 months, they're now doing around 2 million a month, okay, just by 1 initiative a month, okay? The first initiative that we ran, and stop yourself from looking at the screen if you can, they wanted to work on close rate and offer rate and follow up and all these different things, okay? Well, because we had the data, okay, what we looked at was what was the number, average number of touches, outbound dials, per the net new lead that we were getting that equated to a booked call, okay? The answer was 4, okay? So they were touching the leads 4 times. The answer that the data showed us was we needed 6 touches, okay? There's a 2-touch delta. Are you guys following me? Yes. We needed 6 touches, outbound dials, on average to get a set, okay? We were calling leads 4 times before they just went to no man's land, okay? They wanted to work on show rate. They wanted to work on ad spend. They wanted to work on funnels. They wanted to work on all these different things. If we worked on all those things and we still didn't bring our delta up by 2 points, do you think what would we do? We still would be at a loss in our lead to booking percentage, okay? So we could have spent way more money on ads. We could have hired a bunch of new setters. We could have done all these things, but the process in the system was not set up to actually get these setters to actually hit their leads more than 4 times, okay? So all we did was the initiative that we ran was we wanted to go from 4 to 8. 4 touches to 8 touches. That was the only thing that we wanted to do for this month, okay? How we did that is we went in and we put in a better lead prioritization system. So as soon as leads came in, we prioritized that. And really all we did is we set up tracking to show each setter on the team, okay, how many touches they were doing on their new leads within 5 days, 10 days, 15 days, 30 days. That's it. We didn't do anything else. That dashboard came up every single morning and we're all set. Everybody was set on just getting to 8 touches, okay? This at $190,000 with less people, less ad spend to the business in a 30-day period. It was just 1 initiative, okay? Now the next month, okay, and this is gonna, I hope, blow some of your guys' minds, and this is more revenue, but it's the same even at $100,000 or $50,000 a month, okay? This company has 100 closers, 100, okay? What they wanted to do is they wanted to hire more. What did we do? We went back to this resource and we looked at it, and what we found, okay, and this is a number that I'm gonna talk to you guys about a little bit later. We looked at the ROCA, which is return on closer activity. So all of you guys know your cost per booked call? Raise of hands. Okay. So if you took your cost per book call, let's say it's 100, right? And you have 10 setters, or closers, sorry, and you gave each one of them 10 booked calls. How much money did you invest into each closer? $1,000, okay? If one of your closers had a 10x, how much money did they make you off $1,000? 10 grand, okay? If 50% of your closers were only giving you a 2x and one of your closers was giving you a 10x, what can you do to make more money? Pretty simple, right? That's the decision we made. Do you want to know how much money we added this company in a single month by just making that simple decision and just going back to this simple spreadsheet at the end of the month? I will show you guys because it's awesome. We added $518,000 in 1 month to this company. Thank you. So, my point in showing you guys this is when we're talking data, it doesn't need to be super complicated. It can be simple, okay? The reality is you have to have a process, a weekly, monthly, quarterly process to compete with your previous period so you can make good decisions on data. And when you're running a sales team, that's what it really comes down to, is making the right decisions so everybody's focused on one target every month, okay? And what I said in the beginning is if you can look back at your hit rate on initiatives, right? And you can sit there and you can tell me, Aaron, for the last 12 months, we're at 78%. That means you successfully ran right around 9 to 10 initiatives each month for your business. Thank you, okay? So before I get into some of the nitty gritty, I do want to talk about this. When we're running this process, okay, actually raise of hands, how many of you guys have somebody who's running operations in your company? Okay, how many of you guys are running the operations for your company? Okay, great. So, 2 different ways of doing this, okay? Now, if you're running the operations today, I want you to imagine this, okay? And I'm sure you guys are doing many things, like being the sales director, being the CMO, doing the operations. I want you to think on Monday, you wake up and you get a report that shows you, hey, and for me, I'm gonna use me, Aaron, here's our baseline from last week. Here's our baseline for where we're at in the month. We are trending above where we should be, so we're actually on pace to hit our goal. Last week we did this. Okay, this week our target is this. Here's our numbers. Okay, this is what we call a weekly closeout. It's every single Monday morning. It goes to the sales director, the CMO, as well as a back-end account management. Okay, you're gonna have multiple baselines in your company. But as a sales director, when you guys get bigger and you have an operations person, their job is to separate the sales director from the systems, okay, and the data so that they can just make decisions, okay? Meaning this person is maintaining that data and basically boiling it up on a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis so we can always keep track of our targets. Okay, you should never be entering a week or a month or a quarter without goal set. How do you actually set proper goals? You compete with your baseline. Make sense? Okay, so every single Monday, and you guys can do this, you guys can literally do this right now or after this or sometime today, set in your calendar. We run it every day, every Monday at 2:30, okay? That's gonna be specifically with whoever's responsible for operations and your sales team. You're gonna get together, whoever's responsible for the operations is gonna bring the baseline, and all they're doing, quite literally all they're doing, is they're going in each week and they're closing out week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, okay? And I hope this is over like simplified for you guys because that's my point and what I'm trying to make, okay? Quite literally, all this individual is doing, if this is me, I'm waking up Monday morning, the first thing I'm doing is I'm going into my dashboards, okay? Doesn't matter if they're automated or not, okay? And I'm pulling these numbers for the week, the previous week, okay? And this is gonna tell me if I'm on track or off track to my goal and what we need to do this week to either make up for last week, okay? Or what we're gonna do this week to keep going and trending against our goals so that when our sales director sits down Monday morning with the team, he can say, congrats guys, we're trending 20% above pace. We're gonna keep it going. Or hey, last week, we need to make up for 25% of what we missed. So here's our targets, right? If you guys have that clarity for everybody on your team, you, yourself, can play a much higher level role and you guys can focus on the levers that you actually need to pull, okay? Now, what happens when we get to the end of the month, okay? So weekly closeout, okay? We do the same thing, monthly closeout, okay? So at the end of the month, you're also gonna set another meeting, okay? And this is for you to close the baseline for the month. You're gonna have all these numbers plugged in, all 4 weeks, okay? At the beginning of every single month, you're gonna look at the data from the previous month, okay? And you're gonna come into your next tab for month 2, and you're gonna set your monthly targets. You're gonna set your goals. So if you met goal, raise it by 20%, okay? If you didn't, you're still targeting that one goal, okay? Now what this does is it allows you to constantly track and pace where you should be going, okay? So if lead flow goes down, who are you gonna go talk to? You're gonna talk to marketing. If setters aren't making enough dials, right? If your connection rate goes way down, you know what to look at because you're tracking it weekly, but you set the goal going into the month. And if you do this right, once the month 1 scorecard is filled out, you just pop back over to your baseline. You see what's going on. Green means up, red means down, right? And you can set your targets for the next month, okay? Now, additionally, in this meeting, okay, whoever's responsible for operations, you are going to bring up hypothesis, okay? A hypothesis of what you believe is going to drive the most results for the upcoming month, okay? So the example I gave for the average number of touches, the example I gave for Roca, okay, that is being presented by the operations person in that meeting to the CEO, to the founder, to whoever. Does that make sense? You guys still following? Yeah. Okay, beautiful. I want you guys to just think of this. End of the month, you just met goal. Your operations person is now presenting you an idea on how you guys can grow another 10, 15, 20%, okay, with it scoped out from data. And they're saying, I can get this done in 2 to 3 days. This is our target. This is what we're going to roll into. And this is what we're going to be focused on for the next 30. That's the entire goal of the end of month closeout. Okay? Now, what happens when you get to the end of the quarter? Can anybody guess?
New baseline.
New baseline. Damn right. All right. So, end of the quarter, all we're doing, this sheet will be filled out. I'll show you guys a full one. Let's see here. There we go. All right, so baseline's over, right? Here's our starting baseline. Here's our ending baseline. New sheet, new targets, new objectives. What's our hit miss percentage? If we hit 2 out of 3, right, we're at 66%. Not a bad quarter. But the reality is that when you can look at this, okay, and one thing that I just want to point out, I'm going to deviate a little bit from is a lot of people hire operations, but they don't know how to actually set up accountability for that person to actually help them grow the business. And inherently, they become a glorified assistant. Hey, this is on fire. We need water. Hey, this isn't working. Go fix this. Hey, the thing behind the setters, broken, not integrated, right? So this person is just running around. This is the person that should be helping you grow the business significantly, month over month over month, quarter over quarter over quarter, okay? It's just people overcomplicate it. So weekly, monthly, quarterly closeouts. Okay, it's 4 meetings a week, 1 a month, and then 1 a quarter. Make sense? Yeah. All right, fantastic. Now, I'm going to deviate a little bit further from this. I'm going to go into another presentation here real quick. I want to show you guys something. So, let's see. Go to the Paris one. Okay, so when we're talking about how to actually make this really work, what we believe is that there's a core set of engines that every company needs to generate revenue, right? So you have your setter engine, you have your closer engine, you have your show rate engine, and you have reactivation, okay? Simply put, setter, lead to booking, right? Lead delegation, speed to lead to prioritization, how are we dialing, how are we getting people set, okay? Show rate, how do we actually get them to show up for calls, okay? Closer engine, how do we actually make them close, okay? And then reactivation takes care of where everything falls through the cracks, okay? All reactivation is responsible for is if people get called 10 times, they leave the 30-day window, right? But then they become active again. How do we get them back to the setters? So we're not constantly relying on just new spend, new leads, et cetera, okay? Now, I just want to show you guys a few things that we found this year that have just been massive for us. So actually, before I go into this, raise your hand if you guys think speed to lead is important. Okay, keep your hand raised, hands up. If you know your speed to lead overall, and you know your speed of lead by setter. Okay, so it's not important. We're not tracking it. Okay? I like that. Good shit. Okay. There's always a couple. So there's a report that came out from MIT and HubSpot. I just want to show you guys this real quick. So in this report, they basically spent multiple years tracking what speed of lead does in terms of performance for actually booking calls, contact rates, and actually getting deals closed. Okay? And what they found, okay, is, let's see here. Actually, I think I've got it in the presentation. Okay, so the odds, okay, of contact, so making contact, actually getting somebody on the phone, drop by over 10 times outside of the first hour. Okay? 10x outside of the first hour. Okay? To be able to qualify, to actually get them on the phone and set them, okay, decreased by over 6 times in the first hour. Okay? Now, in the first 5 minutes versus 30 minutes, it's 100x. This is MIT and HubSpot, guys. This isn't me. It's MIT and HubSpot. Okay? This is a multi-year, thousands and thousands and thousands of leads, thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of dials study. And you guys can check this out. Just type in MIT HubSpot speed lead study. It'll come up. I recommend all of you guys go look at it. Okay? So for those of you that aren't tracking this, do you think this could be a good initiative, depending on your numbers, for January? Could be. Could be. Okay? Now, if you just ran this initiative without tracking, so you don't know where you're starting from, you don't know baseline, but going back to golf, you shoot 110 on the golf course. Did you do a good job? Maybe you did. What if your baseline's 120? You guys understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay. All right. So speed of lead is one of the things that we ran this year for a lot of our clients, and I just want to show you guys kind of, average. This is actually an actual client. So we implemented this just tracking. We didn't change anything. So we didn't adjust anything. We just tracked it and showed the reps on a day-to-day basis each morning in our stand-up. Okay. The week after implementing, okay, this is in the same month. Okay, their bookings went up 50%. Okay, show rate 79%, and their close rate remained slightly the same. Thank you. Great. So again, this is what we call a velocity mechanism. Okay, so when we're looking at the core engines, right? When you're building systems, we don't build everything that we could possibly think we need. We build the system each month with our initiative. We're trying to find one velocity mechanism that we can bolt onto the system that's going to allow us to hit our goals and produce the most results for the least amount of disruption. Okay, and sometimes that doesn't mean building or adding new stuff. It just means building proper reporting and showing it to your team. Hey, Brian, your speed of lead is 24 hours this week, buddy. Can't have that. Everybody else is 10 hours. We need you guys to get down to 4, right? That psychologically for salespeople creates competition, right? Now there's a leaderboard. You guys don't have to overcomplicate a lot of this stuff, okay? That's what I'm trying to just instill with you guys, okay? Now, going to the, oh yeah, if you guys want to scan this, you can. You don't have to put your information in. It should just send you directly to, actually, you know what? I'll send this stuff out, make sure Alec and them get it. All right, show rates. How many of you guys have seen show rates drop recently or over the past? Okay, not many. So should I skip this? No. Okay, cool. All right, so I won't. All right, so show rate. I just want to touch on this. So we've tried a lot of different things. We've tried automation. We've tried the AI stuff. We've tried so many different things. The one thing that we've always come back to that has worked for us is conditional paths through basically the booking and the pre-call process. So raise of hands, how many of you guys have pre-call set up? So when they book, you guys send them some stuff, some testimonials. Okay, cool. Okay. How many of you guys, based on their engagement or based on what they send back to you or based how they fill out their information, do you guys send them down different cadences? Good shit. I like that. Okay, a few of you guys. Cool. This is the single most important thing that we've found when it comes to show rate. If you have an all-in-one, one-size-fits-all pre-call process, you're actually getting people to say no before they even show up just by presenting them the wrong information. Okay? So when people go automation crazy and they try and throw a bunch of stuff in front of them, they're like, you got to send 10, 15 emails, you got to pre-call and text them and all this stuff. A lot of the times it just comes down to like, what's their problem? Show them how you solve that problem, and then leave curiosity, right? So what we look at is we try and prompt response. The prompting of the response is to be able to get more information on them. If you guys have applications or anything along those lines, awesome. You have all the information you need. We call, we confirm, and then we just nurture up until the appointment start time, okay? Many people, when they're doing pre-call, they get them to confirm and then they drop them. What happens if somebody confirms on Monday but their appointment's Thursday? The work you just put in is worthless. But if you confirm with them, ask them some questions, deliver them some stuff prior to the meeting, get them more curious, all of a sudden, they're more hooked into that meeting than they have been. And your pre-call process is doing a good job, okay? So reality is the thing that we've found to make this really, really easy is we've added a confirmation specialist role, VA, super, super simple. They're calling to confirm. Once they have the confirmation, they're asking a couple different questions, and then we have different paths or playbooks that they can run to nurture them, okay? So we're presenting them with specific testimonials. We're presenting them with specific solutions, some additional resources, right? But it's all tied to that specific person that we're talking to. You gotta remember, these people are people. They're not robots, and you can't feed them the same robotic stuff every single time, okay? This is another example of a velocity mechanism. Show rate's going down. How are we going to address this? Well, let's take the next 30 days and let's create better paths and logic to obviously feed these people so that they want to show up for our calls. Okay? If we just spent 30 days on that, do you guys feel like you could increase show rates? Okay, but if you were doing that and you were trying to do speed to lead and you were trying to fix data and you were trying to hire setters and you were trying to do this, what are the chances you increase show rate? Slim to none. Okay. All right. One last thing here because it's great. And then yeah, I mean, compensation for this role, really, really simple. You know, I mean, we paid $1,000, $2,000, and then they get basically bonuses on the amount of meetings that they confirm, okay, that also show up. So we track them, their KPI, got it, thank you. We track them on their confirmation to show percentage, okay? And that's how we KPI this role. Super simple. If this person gets 2 or 3 extra appointments to show up for you guys and your close rate is 25%, or let's say 4 appointments to show that wouldn't otherwise show, you've just made your money times a few, right? 100% worth it. We hire setters, we hire closers. Why do we not have somebody for something as important as show rate? I don't know, but we should, okay? My theory, you guys can take it, grain of salt, okay? All right, last thing. Yeah, I'm gonna skip that, skip that, skip that, skip that. All right. How many of you guys, raise of hand, have a great conversation with somebody, they're super interested, they say, yep, send everything over, I'll get it paid, and then they disappear from existence, like you're worried if they're in the hospital or maybe they died or something? Raise of hands. Okay, if you've been in business, everybody's hands should have been up. So we call this the Excalibur of fringe deals, okay? It's just something that we've tried and it's produced a lot of results for us, okay? The way that we send our contracts is based off the conversation that the closer has with the actual prospect, okay? Same thing, instead of sending them the one-size-fits-all process, okay, we're sending them something that's trackable, meaning if they disappear but then they open it 30 days later, the closer knows. I want that to stand out for you guys because there are probably, if you guys have been around for a while, there's probably hundreds of deals sitting in your back half of your pipeline that are active. People are hitting your site, they're opening quotes again. Your closers have no fucking clue that that's even happening. It's a lot of money. For some of you guys, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars. For some of you guys, that's probably millions of dollars, okay? Again, one velocity mechanism. We're making a ton of offers. People are saying they're gonna buy, but they're not buying. What's going on? Well, this is what we came up with, okay? All this is, guys, is when they come in, we take their objections, whatever the case may be, rep fills out CSPs, which is conditional stage properties, right? The actual page that we're sending them, the testimonials that are on it, the bullet points that are on it, the verbiage that we use, okay, their pain points that they're saying on their call, right, are all dynamically going into this page, okay? So when we send this out, it looks something like this. It's very simple. Takes 2 seconds for the reps to send out. It pulls their biggest problem into this top video, So we have a few, probably 25, 30 different videos that dynamically fill in here based on what they say on the sales call from our program. How many of you guys are coaches, consultants, have info? Okay, cool. So this will work for you guys. This video is always whatever their biggest problem is, okay? We pull it from our program and we put it here. Hey, by the way, this will solve the problem you said was your biggest problem. Excited to get to work with you, right? The call recording is going to be on the page, right? Our quotes here, program overview. This is how it works, blah, blah, blah. This is who we work with. These testimonials also change based on industry, size, head count, right? So we're feeding them what we know is going to convert at the highest if they consume. And the great thing is every single time they click or open or do anything against this page, guess what happens? Closer knows. So what does he do? He calls them. Pretty simple, right? This is what systems are all about, okay? But you can't build these if you're trying to build 10 things at the same time. I'm gonna keep going back to that frickin' point, right? 1 initiative per month, okay? 3 a quarter. That doesn't mean you're not doing anything else. That just means your big push is gonna be on one thing. How do we come up with speed of lead? How do we come up with the show rate? How do we come up with the Excalibur? We were trying to solve specific problems, and the operators that we were working with came up with really fucking good ideas to solve those problems. And then we proved them, and they worked, okay? So, with all of that being said, let's see here. Is there anything else on here that's worth? Yeah, your team, all that stuff, cool. Let's see here. We're going in. Sorry, 1 second. We're gonna skip that for now. Cool. Well, I'm gonna end with this, guys. If you take anything from this, okay, establish your baseline for sales. You guys don't need to do marketing. You don't need to do account management yet, okay, just sales. What are the 8 to 12 numbers, okay? Think high level. If you're like going into the weeds, just stop yourself, okay? These are the control metrics for all of your other reporting. When you guys get bigger and you have lots of dashboards and lots of people, okay, these 8 to 12 numbers are what is going to keep all of your other drill down reports accurate, okay? Meaning if you're trying to solve for show rate and you don't even know the number of booked calls, right? Can you solve for show rate no matter how much time you put into that number? You can't. Does this make sense? Amazing. Okay. Weekly closeout every Monday, Sunday to Sunday, okay? Monthly closeout, select your initiative from the numbers, play with the data, spend time figuring out what's gonna move the needle the most for you and what you feel like you have the highest confidence that you're going to achieve. Sometimes you're gonna come into this and you're gonna say, I have these 3 things that I know are gonna work, but which one are you most confident in that you can make work? Sometimes it comes down to that decision, right? And then quarterly, reestablish your baseline, get your averages, and figure out what you're gonna do for the next quarter, okay? That's it. My name's Aaron Platt. Thank you guys so much.
All right, team. Wow, that was well played, brother.
Thanks,
Well
dude.
played.
Thank you, Aaron.
So
Absolutely,
brief break. Back through, grab the water, grab a Coca-Cola, chip coffee, whatever you need. Before
Thanks, bro.
presentation, and then we'll do lunch. So quick, get back to your seats here just a moment, and we'll keep it going. Thank you guys. Woo!
Good shit, bro.
Thanks, dude.
That was way easier, bro. Did it work?
What up, dude?
Oh, very nice to see you, bro. You
You
killed
too,
it,
man.
This is my girlfriend Abby, by the way.
Hi, nice to
Hi,
meet you.
it's
Nice to meet you too. You in Tampa?
No, dude, we're in Miami Beach.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, what about you? Where are you at? Are you in
Basically
here?
Miami Beach,
Cool. okay.
Edgewater.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You know Rubby's old spot?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we moved into
Grand
his
Prix,
spot,
Dude,
yeah.
that's a sick spot.
Yeah.
Did you take that like directly off of him?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, when we were going up the elevator with the realtor, it opened and it was Rubby and Lauren packing their
No
shit.
way.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. Yeah, they got a cool spot, man. Like that. I mean, you got a cool spot now. Like
Dude.
perfect view. Like last time I remember, he was saying like the rent was pretty reasonable for what you're
It's
getting.
11,000.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Worth it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this stuff back real quick, but good to see you, bro. We'll catch up. Good?
Hell yeah. That's exactly what I need to hear.
I love it.
Good shit, dude.
Thanks, dude.
Stellar as always.
Appreciate it.
Quick question, brother. For
Yes,
your
sir.
tracker, are you using the software or spreadsheet?
So spreadsheet is always filled out no matter what we're doing with the reporting, but
Yeah.
we automate everything in HubSpot. or
okay.
Looker. It doesn't really matter, but automated should always come with an automated baseline, basically report. I'll show you.
Yeah.
And then everything gets pulled in on the weekly, monthly, quarterly cadence.
Okay, I got you.
So it doesn't matter how automated the reporting is. We always still use the sheet.
Appreciate that, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you.
100%.
I got a list, bro. I'm gonna go fast.
Yeah.
We've been just doing a 48-hour window to book to try and help the show rate.
Yeah.
You talked about booking on Monday, show up on Thursday. Do you
Yeah.
believe in the 48 hours, or do you let them book more days off?
It depends on who you're working with.
Yeah.
So
Ours are event hosts, and so I tried to do it just to.
I think it makes
if
sense
they
for you
book
guys.
Too far out, then
Yeah.
they're not gonna show up.
Yeah, I think for you guys, it's probably like a real high urgent need.
Yeah.
So shorter window probably makes sense. But one thing that we have found is like when people book within like 24 hours, we're not able to get them the stuff that they need or engage with them the way that we want to.
yeah.
So they show up and they're like, oh yeah, I just
See,
like
and
saw
I feel like
something. And
part
yeah.
of what I'm finding, and I was talking about this, is like I feel like people are taking advantage of my calls, and they're using it as free consulting.
Yeah.
And then like I'm having to then all that shit I feel like they should be getting before the call. So when we
Yes.
get it to the call, it's like it's a closing call. Because what's happening is like, and me as the guy, because I'm trying to do the calls, is I'm giving them all the data, and then they're kind of like, okay, cool, thanks for all that data.
Sick, yeah.
I'm gonna go implement
Yeah.
it myself. And then I'm like, fuck, man. I just told, like, they were ready to buy, and I just walked myself out of a deal by telling them what we're going to do.
I think, I mean, I'd have to look at your guys' like pre-call stuff, but like, there's probably some framing you guys could do
Yeah.
to get
It's definitely in
people
the framing.
more to like make a decision, not coming for like Q&A.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Another
'cause
question.
it's the same thing for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, go
Another
ahead.
question is the confirmation specialist different than the setter?
Yeah.
You don't have a
We don't do
doing
setters
that?
do it, no.
Because are they qualifying people? Because we get a lot of unqualified book calls.
They will remove people from the calendar. If they're like, yeah, just, I don't care, I
It's a
just
DJ or a
like,
club,
whatever.
we're getting